All right, well, thank you everyone for coming here today. It's a great opportunity to present what's happening in Osseo and with my fellow esteemed mayors from the neighboring communities. One thing I did notice that Mayor Stephenson forgot to put up on one of the things that ranked him with second best was actually the location next to Osseo. I didn't see that on there. That was a big help for them, I think. So, but Osseo, it's a very unique city. As Pierre Bottineau, everyone knows that name around here, kind of discovered Osseo way back in the 1800s as he stood there and looked around. He said, this is paradise. And that's kind of really what it is. It's a really unique kind of jewel here in the Northwest Metro. We've got a lot of unique things. And, the city of Osseo and the staff and everybody, I think it's like a big family. Of course, all of our families, we've got those crazy uncles and somewhere down the line, but, we all have to deal with them. So, but no, just wanted to, again, welcome the members of the Osseo City Council here today. We've got Larry Stelmack, Ann Zelnick, Harold Johnson, and Mark Schultz back there. They're all keeping an eye on me so I don't screw up. So we got the full staff here, and then of course, City Administrator Doug Reeder back there. And I just want to say thanks for all of the things that he does. It really helps our job a lot easier with the guidance that he's given us with his term with us. So. One thing I would really like to touch on, and one thing that I think we take most pride in here in Osseo is just the continued financial stability of the city. It was a few years ago. The question always was, so are we going to be Brooklyn Park or are we going to be Maple Grove? And we've worked hard as a council to ensure that that's not going to happen, and Osseo stays Osseo now and in the long term. A lot of the decisions we've made are not just what's best today or next year. It's kind of what does it mean downstream, and how can we maintain the financial viability of the city, again, not only today, but in the future. So that's one thing that we've really worked hard on. Because the little thing about Osseo, Osseo is basically 1 square mile. 0.7 of it, of a square mile, is the actual land mass. And in that, we have a quarter of it that's non-revenue producing. So from basically 3/4 of a square mile, we have to produce enough revenue to run a city. So that's really our challenge. We have to look at new and innovative ways in which we do that without consistently going to the tax well, and just continue tax and tax people right out of the city. So that's kind of a balance that we have to strike and look at different and unique ways in which we can continue to operate the city and deliver the services we do. Another thing that we take great pride in, is when we started a number of years ago, our bond rating. Both mayors have talked about the bond rating and the importance of it, but our bond rating was an A a couple of years ago, and we just got a new bond rating by S&P because we're issuing some debt, and we've raised it to a AA minus. That's 2 ticks up. So that's huge for the city of Osseo, and we're going to continue to try to be financial stewards of the money that's given to us by the residents. It's very important to us, and continue to maintain that financial strength going forward. Again, as they touched on it, all it does is it lowers the cost for bond issuance for the city because the better credit rating, and we do have to issue some different debt to be able to accomplish some things that we have to do in the city. So, and then as you can see on the slide there, this has been the 5th straight year that our budget came in under what our projected budget was. We've really tried to manage the finances, and as we said, find new and innovative ways in which to deliver the services that all the citizens require. Also, our housing values are up again this year, which is nice. And it's up significantly, so much that as we just had our truth and taxation hearing, people were upset that their taxes went up, but as we looked at the numbers, we realized if your value stayed the same, your taxes would have went down. But so they didn't appreciate that the values were going up. But we'll continue to work on that. But so one thing too is we talk about LGA. You hear about it in the paper all the time. LGA is a large part of our budget. That's local government aid that's received from the state. It's about 1/3 of our budget. So one thing that we've done as a council and be very conscious about it is we said, well, and you heard everyone bash LGA when it was getting cut a few years ago, and then the formula got readjusted. And one thing that we've said consciously and we've made a decision about as a council is we said, you know, LGA may or may not be around, but in the old days, the payments, they'd promise you X and deliver you Y, and you never knew what it never was. And then a lot of times the knock was, well, you're kind of getting fat off the hog and not managing your city the correct way. So we've made a decision to kind of restructure our budget, and we're close to now, the monies that we receive in LGA are all going to our capital improvement projects, whether it be streets, roads, you know, new equipment, cop cars, things like that. So I mean, if it comes to the point where it all of a sudden gets eliminated from the state, we can go to the state and say, well, we're running our government on the monies that we can raise within our jurisdiction, our city limits, but we have no money to do future projects, so we're gonna have to have some help there. So I mean, we're just kind of positioning our city long-term that if that is an issue, at least we can account for that. And, you know, we're able to put, you know, money aside for streets and roads and new equipment, and we'll kind of touch on that going forward. You know, and one big thing that you've probably seen as we talk to the Cranes and everybody else is the new development. As you can see in the chart there, I mean, we've got over $23 million of building permits, you know, that over the last couple of years, they've just been ticking up. You know, as a council, we've looked at all the possible developable land in the city, and how can we get it, you know, on the books. There's a lot of, the EDA owned a lot of properties, you know, that were just sitting there not collecting any taxes. So we try to look for new ways in which to, again, you know, grow the revenue for the city, which lessens the burden for the homeowners. So as you can see that, I mean, last 2 years, we've been continuing to look for more and more new development. And it just, you know, helps with this new development, some of the, you know, finances that we've talked about. It goes from, you know, some of the citizens worrying about, you know, who are we gonna be and are we gonna be around to, you know, I really think now it's time to start building community. I think community is important for the city, and I mean, you've probably seen it in the paper about rebranding and things. I mean, as Brooklyn Park has said, but we just had an article, I mean, we don't have the budget of Brooklyn Park to rebrand, but, you know, we're trying to, you know, change the logo and, you know, again, try to build community within the city. You know, so if we look here, these are some of our recent notable developments that we have, you know, in the city here. You know, if you look, we've got, you know, 36 million of private investment into our city, which is, you know, pretty significant. You know, and I think one thing that you're seeing is, you know, we have what a lot of people are trying to develop with that livable, walkable city. And I think, and that's really what's driving some of this investment. You know, some of the big things, you know, like our apartment project, you know, 5 Central there, it, you know, is kind of a unique situation, you know, and we'll kind of highlight some of the ones, you know, as 5 Central here. You know, the first phase, and this started a number of years ago as they did acquisitions on some of the scattered homes in Osseo, and then eventually, you know, we put together a plan, and kind of the comprehensive plan is to build density along the core, bringing more bodies downtown, which will help support the businesses. So the first phase opened up in July of this year, which was 69 units, and it was opened up at about 86% occupied, and then now it's full. And there were some people that actually were signing leases in phase 1, but heard phase 2 was coming along, so they just said, you know what, we're not gonna sign, let's select a spot in phase 2 and we'll wait for that thing to come online. So, and that's gonna come online, that's another 71 units. So that'll come online here in May of this year. You know, so, and really what's the significance of that? I mean, it's 140 units, you know, it's not that big, but at the same time, once the building is full and occupied, it's gonna change the population of Osseo about 10%. So I mean, it has huge significance to the population of Osseo. And right now, the majority of those people that are in those apartments are millennials. So again, a different demographic that hasn't been in Osseo. Typically, we're high on we're kind of the dumbbell effect with a lot of the younger families and the retirees, but not a lot in between, just because of the housing stock that we have in Osseo. So next one, development. We've had, it was the gun range. I'm sure a bunch of people saw that, but again, it's a great asset, to the city. It's a destination type retail that I think those are the kind of things, they had a lot of, it's a very nice gun range. I mean, everyone who's been there has raved about it, so I mean, if you get an opportunity, you can check it out. And, even they're teaching gun safety and a bunch of other things there. It's just not a range. Actually, they have a simulator there too, where you can go, get more comfortable with gun safety and things, and use the simulator. Another great new development here is the villas. The villas, it's the old Berkshire, and the villas. It's an organization that came in and purchased the building, and they're putting a 20,000 square foot addition on the north end. It's kind of short-term rehab care, and it's going to be a nice amenity for the residents of Osseo, but everyone in the area that has to do a kind of stint for short-term with a hip replacement or something. But again, quality facility in Osseo for healthcare, but then also the old Berkshire residents. Now they're going to totally renovate that also, is get this done and then totally renovate the center. So again, just improving the care that people can receive in Osseo. And then the big exciting one is the police department. This was something that took a number of years, and it was quite an exhaustive search on what to do with the police. It was determined from a community survey that the people wanted the police, and they said, figure out how to keep them here. So we looked at every single option I think we could have in the city, and we finally determined, it probably makes some sense. Why don't we add on to City Hall? We've got the existing elevator, the restrooms that we can utilize, and the locker rooms can be under or downstairs underneath the community center, because there's some excess space there. So we went through and renovated the downstairs, so it has locker rooms for men and women, secure storage for evidence, and then the new police station. We have an open house today from 4 to 6, so if anybody's needs to has some time, I'd love to see you come by. And we also have some other activities going on at that time. The next is also our chief of police. After 4 years, we pulled him out of retirement during a tumultuous time there, and what was going on with the police in Osseo, and stabilized it and has done a heck of a job. So he's retiring after 4 years. He was on the Hennepin County Sheriff's for a number of years prior to that. And then we have Shane Mickelson as he was a 10-year person on the police force. He's going to be taking over as the chief of police here. And then also we have our city attorney retiring this year. So we've got a couple of key individuals retiring after 23 years. And Lauren's done a great job. He's been in Osseo across the parking lot from City Hall, so it's going to be tough to replace him. We did a bunch of interviews, and we've got a new city attorney coming on next month. And also some additional changes. We do have a new council, as we talked about, addressed them earlier. We have 3 of the 4 new council members coming on this year, so welcome to all of them. And then just kind of in some other new personnel. We've got an administrative assistant, Emma, and then Terry. We've kind of changed over our financial reporting and stuff, so she had some added strength there to kind of help kind of shepherd us along. And then again, we do have a couple of new people in Public Works also. So we're really we're fully staffed now and kind of looking to the future, and everybody's just doing a great job. So some of the highlights for 2015, as you can see, we've got, continued local business expansion. A lot of the business we've been talking to, and they want to look at expansion plans like ceramic industrial coatings out on Highway 81 there. We've got a new 3-on-3 hockey training center opening up in the old dance studio out on 81. So that'll be another great opportunities for families to be in town. And also, we've added activities for the seniors at the community center, with different jazzercise yoga, chair fitness and things. And we're continue to have discussions with neighboring cities and how we can build youth programs and kind of joint youth programs between the different cities, because we just don't have the size or the staff to be able to handle those. And also, too, as I think, one thing to look for next year is, as we touched on it, Maple Grove about their 40 years, it's actually Osseo's 100th anniversary for the fire department this year. So that'll be in July. There'll be a big kind of festival around that. So look for that. And that's exciting when they have some old records when they used to respond to calls down in Plymouth and all over the place from little lowly Osseo, the kind of the lone outpost up here. So, and just kind of highlighting, some of our other festivals we have throughout the year. The Vintage Car Show is a big draw. Usually we have, over 200 cars there. That's usually the beginning of May. And great activity to bring families to. And of course, the Lions Roar, which everyone kind of knows, it's usually the Saturday after Labor Day, big community festival, draws a lot of people. And then the Mini Dazzle, it's kind of the Norman Rockwell kind of Christmas celebration with the park and the carolers and, Santa there and the big bonfire. And it's really kind of a, special, unique thing of in Osseo to have that, So I just say, come discover Osseo. It's got a lot of great things to offer, and we've got, a lot of new changes. You haven't been through town. There's a lot of things changing, and we're going to continue to try to improve things. So thank you for your time.